Hi everybody, Sean and Catherine with Monorail Central here. Today we're going to be discussing our experience with lunch at Space 220, which is located in the Space Pavilion at Epcot in World Discovery. For you normies out there, that's Mission Space. Space 220 is a restaurant in space. You actually go to space. The first thing you do when you check in for your experience at Space 220 is you board a Stellarvator. That's what they call it. It's basically this really fast elevator that shoots you all the way 220 miles up above the Earth's surface, hence the name Space 220. When you board your Stellarvator, you have an observation window at the top and you have an observation window at the bottom, so you can watch yourself traveling from the Earth's surface to the restaurant up in space. If you're an individual that experiences motion sickness, do not look at the windows.
Stare straight ahead of you. It's an enclosed space around you with the window at the top and the window at the bottom. Just a word of warning, because you can watch your ascent into space and your descent back to Epcot.
Once you arrive at the restaurant, it is full space station mode. You can see they have the hydroponic gardens while you go to walk into the dining room, and then the dining room has all these windows where you can stare out into space, and it is just fantastic.
You can see some of your astronaut friends hanging out. They'll wave to you while you're eating. There's a few space shuttles that go by. And it's just a really great experience. I love looking out the windows when you're in Space 220.
Space 220, I do want to say, this is not a restaurant that's operated by Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. It is operated by a third party, specifically the Patina Group. If you've ever been to Maria and Enzo's in Disney Springs, they're the same people that operate that restaurant. So just keep in mind, this isn't a Disney restaurant. However, it is supposed to live up to the Disney standards. So all the cast members, they're still considered cast members. They wear name tags. You can use Disney gift cards here. You can use your annual pass holder and DVC discounts here. So all of the perks of being a Disney restaurant still apply.
Space 220 is open for both lunch and dinner. It is a prix menu. Specifically for lunch, Space 220 is $55 for adults and $29 for kids. For adults, included in this pricing is a liftoff, which is your appetizer, and a star course, which is your main entree, as well as a fountain drink. For kids, you get an entree, a dessert, and a drink. Dinner pricing is $79 for adults and $35 for children. For dinner, the differences are that the adults get a dessert included and the kids get an appetizer included. To start things off at Space 220, I had the Centauri Caesar salad. This is romaine lettuce, classic Caesar dressing, Parmigiano Reggiano, toasted garlic crouton crumble. I love Caesar salad. This was a really fresh Caesar salad. The crumble was really interesting because it's a soft crumble. It's not like a hard crouton kind of broken into little pieces. They're very fine pieces, but they created an interesting texture, so it was a little bit on like the wild side for a Caesar salad, which like you're in space, so why not? The romaine lettuce was crunchy. It tasted great. There were no wilted pieces.
And they grow it directly on the space station.
And they grow it on the space station. You see them grow it when you walk in.
It really is stellar.
Shut up. This was just a great classic all-around Caesar salad. Can't go wrong. I ate the entire Caesar salad.
It's probably one of the best Caesar salads we've had on Disney property.
Exactly. It was just really good. You can't go wrong ordering it if you're not really like an adventurous sort of appetizer person.
For my appetizer, I opted to go for the Andromeda Wagyu beef Carpaccio, which came with Wagyu beef, pomegranate seeds, potato chips, a truffled cipriani sauce, and shaved Parmesan. And this is one of the best appetizers I have ever had at Walt Disney World. Just a little disclaimer, Carpaccio is served rare to raw, depending on your preferences. This basically was raw. It's shaved really thin. It's meant to be eaten all in one bite, so everything on the plate you kind of like stack on this potato chip. So you get this the cipriani sauce, a pomegranate seed, a potato chip, some beef, and some Parmesan, and you all put it in your mouth at once, and everything is just so good together. The beef melts in your mouth. and it's so flavorful, especially for it being raw to rare beef. You wouldn't think that it absorbs any of the seasonings that they put on it. It's just so flavorful. I had this once before when we tried Space 220 in August, before the menu changed. I'm so glad they kept this on the menu because I was looking forward to this Carpaccio. If I wasn't limited to just one appetizer, and if we were on the Disney Cruise Line,
you'd get 5 servings.
I'd get 5. I would get 5 of these every single night. This is just amazing. I can't wait to go back to Space 220 again. Reservations are still pretty difficult to come by. We're kind of lucky that we got the chance to do this twice within a year. Get this. Get this, get this, get this. You've spent the money just to enter the restaurant. Get this. If you don't like it, just tell them you weren't a fan. I'm sure they'll get you something else. But man, everything was just so good.
And I wouldn't think like potato chips and a Carpaccio would like go together. You know what I mean?
Oh, they did. The saltiness of the potato chip and the sweet meltiness of the Wagyu. Everything on this dish complemented each other perfectly. For our third appetizer, we had the Starry Calamari, which was fried calamari with Italian cherry peppers served with spicy marinara and a roasted pepper citrus aioli. Normally, this would be included as part of your prefix menu. However, between the 6 of us, we all collectively decided that we were going to split it. Just keep in mind, we paid a little bit extra for this. I think we paid $19, but you can get this as part of your regular prefix. We just decided to order a la carte. They let us do it this time. They also let us do it the last time we were there with just the 2 of us. But I'm reviewing it in the capacity that it is included with your meal.
Really well cooked calamari. They weren't chewy. They weren't soggy, mushy. They were like perfectly cooked. The spicy marinara and that pepper citrus aioli went beautifully with the calamari. They paired excellently. They were great additions to this dish. You had little breaded and fried cherry peppers. Those were pretty good.
The spicy marinara, they say it's spicy.
It wasn't that spicy.
It wasn't. It had a tiny little kick to it, but it was more like a red pepper flake kick. Definitely tolerable for somebody with a lower spice tolerance. Not your typical pre-packaged and frozen shipped in calamari that you can find at any Italian restaurant or pizza place in the Northeast. You could definitely tell this was made using the freshest of space calamari.
For my entree, I had the Interstellar steak and frites. This was a New York strip steak served with roasted garlic butter, haricot vert, and French fries. You can also add jumbo shrimp to this for $15, but I chose not to. I ordered this medium rare, and it was a really, really, really well done steak.
No.
Oh, no. It was well made. Made well. It was not well done. It was medium rare, and it was
perfect.
Cooked perfectly. I really, really enjoyed this steak. The French fries, they give you a lot of French fries. Yeah, I was not expecting that many French fries. They paired really well with that garlic butter. They were crispy. They weren't soggy at all. They held their crisp even with the butter on them. And the haricot vert, there was like 5 of them hidden underneath the steak.
They just look like green French fries, really.
They were good. They weren't anything like, when you order steak and frites, the vegetables are on there just to give you like, oh yeah, I'm eating vegetables with this. You don't actually eat them.
That makes it healthy.
No, it just makes you feel better about yourself when you eat this.
The American way.
The American way. This is a really, really, really good entree. It is one of my favorites. I will order steak and frites until the day I die. I cannot get enough of them. If you are a really big steak person, this is a really, really, really good entree to try.
I think this is one of the best steaks you will find on Disney property.
Absolutely.
I've had California grill steak. I've had steak at Raglan Road. I've had steaks at Le Cellier. I've had steaks at Citricos.
Flying Fish.
I've had a lot of steaks at Disney World. This, by far, has been, I think, the best one I've had.
Just looking at the picture makes you want to go back to Space 220.
I know, I want to go back so bad, but it's so hard to get a reservation for it.
Please get the steak and frites. If you take anything away from this menu, beef carpaccio, steak and frites.
For my entree, I opted to go for the Mangala roasted chicken, which is an Indian-inspired 24-hour marinated chicken with red peppers, carrots, and tomato, served with a coconut basmati rice. And for someone who, I'm really not a fan of Indian food, this was phenomenally good. The chicken was very moist and juicy. I had no complaints with it whatsoever, other than the fact that it was a bone-in chicken, which did make it a little bit difficult to navigate and cut through. The puree that it sat in, along with the carrots and the peppers, everything was just so flavorful and amazingly good. The coconut basmati rice is one of the best rice sides I've ever had anywhere, not limited to Disney. And when you combine it with everything else in the dish, with that puree and the carrots and the tomatoes and the peppers, it all just comes together and makes a wonderful, fantastic dish. I hate tomatoes. This dish made me like these tomatoes. Do you know how hard that is? Catherine can't get me to eat tomatoes. If you're like me and you're like not really comfortable with exploring new foods, this is a great dish to introduce yourself to that flavor profile. It's got me willing to try more food like this, and if they have it on the menu again the next time we go, I'm 100% getting it again. So, as we said at the beginning of the video, we were there with 4 other people in addition to us. We didn't have them review any of their dishes. We didn't try any of their dishes just because these people were all on vacation. I didn't want to detract from their good time. For 6 people, plus an alcoholic drink and the upcharge for the a la carte calamari, after our 10% annual pass holder discount, our bill before tip came out to $310, which is, a little bit on the high side. You don't get free refills at this restaurant. So when I got my second round of Diet Coke, they charged me $5 for it, which did kind of rub me the wrong way, but
one beverage is included. No unlimited refills. One
beverage is included. So that is our review of Space 220 at Epcot. When Space 220 first opened, it was met with a lot of mixed and bad reviews and a lot of criticism, and I was kind of scared the first time we went back in August, and I was pleasantly surprised by that trip. And I'm happy to say that this past January when we went, it held up to our first experience, which was one of the best restaurants at Walt Disney World.
It was a great experience. I love Space 220. It's quickly become one of my favorite restaurants on Disney property.
Oh yeah, now I'm gonna wind up going out of my way to try and get it every single time we go down now.
I can't wait to try more stuff off of their menu after this experience. I know I'm just gonna keep going back to the Caesar salad though.
And for the price you pay too, the value you get out of it, plus the experience of, being up in space, it's 100% worth it. I'd pay for this experience 1,000 times over every single time. If you're thinking of going elsewhere for dinner, say 1900 Park Fair or Ohana, 100% take this over those 2 restaurants.
Yep. If you enjoyed this dining review, please be sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to Monorail Central for more Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Disney Vacation Club, and Walt Disney World Monorail Project content.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all real soon.